Our project serves to create a foreign language collection for a library that does not already have one. We will also talk about how this collection will increase over time. Though our library in this presentation is fictional, many of our facts and figures are based on Wixom Public Library in Wixom, Michigan, as well as collecting demographic statistics from Novi, Michigan.
Imagine 5 people walking into a library, and one person can only use a handful of materials scattered throughout the library because that is all that is available in their first, only, or desired language. Our library is in a statistically diverse and multilingual area. However, the current materials are not reflective of the people within it. Our 3 goals of selection for collection development, updated in 2017, show an increased focus on supporting our diverse community. However, there is still a huge need for foreign language materials that has been unmet in previous years and in the current plan of collections that leaves 1 in 5 patrons with limited items. Adding this new collection falls in line with our goals and the goal of all libraries. As we have a diverse community, having a foreign language section shows a commitment to our ESL and bilingual patrons that they have the same right to a variety of materials. Our public school also has an increase in the languages offered, and a larger selection of these materials would aid in their learning. The range of materials we need to add should include those for ESL and language learning, nonfiction, reference, current popular fiction, and materials in youth, young adult, and adult. We will build this new collection over the course of several years, starting with a bulk purchase to get it started, using the demographics of our community as a guide. For the languages chosen, the languages that have high interest will gain materials faster than those with less interest, and we will continually reevaluate language needs and interest to best support the community. Desired outcomes include supporting our diverse and multilingual community, to aid foreign language students, and to increase patrons in the library.
According to Data USA, our community has a higher density of non-English speakers than the national average. During the summer, we sent out a project outcome survey asking patrons how satisfied they are with the library. One of the most notable responses was a dissatisfaction with our non-English language offerings. When asked specifically if patrons would use a world language selection of books, more than 20% indicated they would. This reflects our growing non-English speaking community. In the last 10 years, there has been a marked increase in international employees and their families using the library, as well as local students requesting supplemental foreign language materials. The collection will be the responsibility of the nonfiction librarian. They already manage our sizable ESL collection, which will be reshelved alongside with the new collection. Books will be selected from our usual vendor, Baker & Taylor, as well as Amazon, which carries a greater variety of languages. All the librarians need to understand how to effectively search for materials in languages they are not familiar. For the future, more emphasis should be put on encouraging existing staff to build their foreign language skills, as well as hiring staff who speak the major languages spoken in the community. As Jen Hill states in her article, librarians that speak the languages spoken in the community builds trust with patrons and makes them more comfortable asking for help. The processing and linking of new books will continue to be done by the clerks. Librarians will meet for an extra hour for training, either before or after operating hours. The meeting will cover search strategies for materials in other languages and multicultural communication. The support services librarian will be in charge of training the pages and clerks. They will collaborate with the nonfiction librarian to update the linking and processing manuals with instructions for the new collection. Clerk and page training will be done during their shifts, and no extra time will be needed.
We are not the only library who has considered having a foreign language collection. Having a foreign language collection in your library does not need to be scary. Other libraries have accomplished this and have done so with great success. 2 examples of libraries incorporating foreign language collections are found in Erie, Pennsylvania and Arapahoe, Colorado. In 2015, Erie, Pennsylvania saw a large influx of refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Bhutan, Syria, and Ukraine. The Erie County Public Library took it upon themselves to form a special collection that included materials in the home languages of the refugees, as well as ESL materials and citizenship information. This resulted in many new patrons at their library. Glendale Library in Arapahoe, Colorado has one of the largest collections of Russian language materials in the United States. It contains over 11,000 Russian language materials, and people travel from all over the state to visit the collection. This has also led to new programming at the library, such as Russian Book Club, computer classes taught in Russian, and Russian author talks.
The estimated cost of starting up a foreign language collection would be around $8,500. This is based on purchasing both foreign language materials and the shelving space needed to accommodate for the collection. The cost of the double-facing shelves would be around $4,000. The other $4,500 of the startup fund would go towards the purchase of the actual language materials. The library's goal is to have approximately 25 books per language, and the estimated average cost of each book would be around $30. These numbers are only estimated, but with discounts from vendors like Baker and Taylor, we should come well within the $4,500. To get the funding started for this new collection, the library could first apply for a few grants. Holding a fundraiser is another option, and it could be done in book sales, bake sales, craft sales. And of course, donations are another option, and it would be suggested in the announcements that the library would send out to get some hype for this new collection. Word of mouth, social media, and email blasts would be used to get the word out. The library can also look into the budget and see where funds can be moved around. For example, with the rise in streaming media, the circulation of DVDs and music CDs are on a downward trend in libraries across the country. So it is possible that if the stats for this area are down, that our library could move some of the funding from the AV materials over to the new foreign language collection. The years following the startup of this collection would not be nearly as costly, as we would only be purchasing materials to add or replace damaged ones in the collection. Grants would also still be applied for to fund this section, and donations in both money and gently used materials would be appreciated. And of course, funds would be allocated from areas in the budget that don't need as much money as they previously did, or the library could apply to have this collection added into the budget as its own separate thing, such as AV materials versus book purchasing. An additional section of the foreign language books would be added into the budget if possible.
In short, the foreign language collection will be a celebration of our community's diversity that provides support and a place of enjoyment for all, because no matter what language you're using, the meaning of a library is universal.